Well, we're here at the 12th annual Vintage Trucks of Florida Truck Show, the Winter National, actually.
Yep.
And we're standing with a guy that most of you should recognize already, Bruce Wilson.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing today?
Doing all right. It's nice weather compared to what I have in Tennessee right now.
I know, right? But,
Yeah.
you know, you used to live down here in these parts, so...
I did, yes, sir.
Are you missing the weather or what?
I miss it right now, but I don't miss the summer weather, that's for sure.
All right, well, I wanted to get your backstory, you know,
Okay.
and go far back, so my audience, your audience, can I understand the love for trucks. You know, a lot of guys have a love for trucks. So let's take us back to the history, if there's family history, you know, take us back.
All right, so, I mean, my history is mainly around farm equipment, construction equipment, buying and selling it. My dad had a tractor dealership in the early 90s all the way up until 2021, so I was a part of that really heavy. YouTube started from Cletus McFarland, good friend of mine now. He had a diesel pickup, and I kind of messed with diesel pickups, did sled pulling back in 2011, 12, and 13, and had a mess with diesel pickups. So Cletus brings me his diesel pickup one day. Somehow we got connected. At the time, I didn't know his name was Cletus. I called him Garrett because that's how he introduced himself to me, and showed him what I did, the sled pulling. I was doing some drag racing stuff, and he's like, man, you should start a YouTube channel. I was like, well, I only watch YouTube to work on stuff. I never in my life ever before that point ever watched YouTube for entertainment, ever, other than like funny video, you know, fails or stuff like that. So in 2016, started making YouTube videos on diesel pickups, and it's a struggle to be unique. It's a struggle to be the face of a channel and do something different than what everyone else does. And so I did cars and trucks, I did farm equipment content, all kinds of stuff. And then one day, flying model airplanes with my brother at a farm, and this guy lets us all go fly our model airplanes. He's got a bunch of old equipment. So I told my brother, who's helping me make videos at the time, I'm like, what if we try to start up some old tractor? And that's where Will It Start was born for me in 2019, like July of 19. And we started up an old case tractor, and then that video got like 1 million views overnight. We picked up like 100,000 subscribers in 24 hours. It was crazy. We went from like a 80,000 subscriber channel to like 250,000 subscribers in the span of a week. And it was wild. And then so then it was like, what can we start up? Every video was like, what can we start up? So this farmer's field, we started everything we could find on his field. He's like, have at it. The stuff hasn't been started in forever. And so then a friend of mine's like, hey, I know where an old semi's sitting at. Now, I've never messed with semis. I don't think I ever even drove one before. I didn't know how to shift, float gears, nothing. This is in 2019. And we go to this field, and there's an old cab over, and this is my second most viewed video on the channel now. It's got like 10 million views. And it had been sitting for like 20-something years, international, 9670. We got out there, had someone make a key for it, and we got it started and drove it out of the field. And I started making content with that video, and that one got 2 or 3 million views in a matter of a few days. And then I was like, well, it looks like we're a semi-truck channel now, because the people, you got to give the people what they love. And I loved making videos, but if I could make videos and find a way to make a living at it, then you got to follow the content, you know?
Yep.
So then we started making semi-truck videos, and we made some videos with that truck, starting more Will It Starts with semi-trucks. And that led us into buying my old cab over we called Blue Collar. People loved that truck, a Freightliner. We kind of restored it and did some stuff with it. We gave it away about a year ago now through a sweepstakes deal we did. That truck got me my CDL. I ended up buying a new Peterbilt, and this is where we start getting heavy into the truck stuff. A brand new 389 Peterbilt, because I started my own used tractor dealership and my father retired.
What year was that?
This was in 21.
Okay.
And bought a brand new Pete from Fitzgerald Peterbilt. A lot of guys know semi-casual people. And I started buying and selling equipment all over the country. So I was going to Tennessee, Georgia, all over the place out of Florida, buying 5 or 6 machines or implements at a time. So I'm trucking everything back myself while making content at the same time. And after a while, the popularity, all the buzz, it kind of fizzles out. It always does. So then I'm sitting on my couch one night, and I'm like, how do I become unique? How do I change the game again? And I'm scrolling on Craigslist, and I guess this runs us right into the Scania here behind me. scrolling on Craigslist one night, and I see European show truck as a title. Now this is like this is in 2023, October of 23. Now no one uses Craigslist unless they're like foreigners or really like old fellas.
Right.
Like they just, no one knows a Facebook Marketplace now. If you're either a marketplace or you're on Craigslist, and just happened to find this truck, and I pulled a picture. It's a Scania, my red Scania that we cut the roof off of, actually. So me and my buddy, I'm like, we got to go get this truck right now. We fly over to Daytona in his little Cessna, and I drive it back, and that's what led us into the Scania saga. So long-winded there. Sorry about that.
No, not at all. Most people, if they've watched those videos, they know what your initial impression was, but why did you feel that you needed to go and buy that truck, that Scania?
Because no one had been making any YouTube videos with it. And I was like, I mean, you see European semi-trucks and you think they look funny, crazy. You don't truly appreciate them for what they are. You know, we here in America, the trucking culture, you know, I don't claim to be the professional truck driver by no means, but being around all the truck shows, you can definitely see the people that live and breathe the trucking community. But in the U.S., it's slowly dying. You know, the people that, you know, it was a lifestyle. You know, it's not really a lifestyle here in the U.S., but in Europe, you know, seeing the truck and even that first red Scania we bought, it's crazy. Like everyone knew the history of this one single truck. And even my tours over, my visits to Sweden and Finland is like, the trucking scene is probably 10 times as big as what we have here. Yeah. Because they don't have mega fleets. A lot of like 50, 100 truck fleets, but the trucks are all customized by their drivers. And you look at a truck like this, and I'm wondering where the path of describing everything, but you look at a truck like this, you're like, there's no way you can customize this. People think it's made of plastic. Right. But this, honestly, is just as customizable or more as a Peterbilt 389. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I watch and I'm in tune with the guys over there in Europe and things like that, and what they've done to the trucks, and a lot of them look really, really, really cool. Yep. So hats off to them for taking something like this, a plain brown paper, wrapper, so to speak, and then making it unique. First off with all the airbrushing. Yeah. And that in itself is just over the top. It's over the top. Yeah. And again, people watching this, you probably know. If you don't know, just peek your head through the door and what some of the folks are doing over there. It's really, really talented stuff. So now, with the red Scania that you bought, you did several things with it. You did some unique things, and you did some fun things.
We pissed off a lot of European viewers, and I did not mean to do that. So we some guys in Finland got a hold of me, Yuli Voimala. They've become family to me now. I visit them all the time. And they sent me some injectors and computer. We serviced it, turned it up. He's like, let's just make a bunch of horsepower because it'd be fun. And I love making high horsepower stuff. And then I wanted to go do like sled pulling it and doing burnouts and drag, whatever we could do, just, doing some, it's all based back to content. What can you do that someone hasn't done with a semi-truck, We can pull a load down the road any day of the week, but that's not unique. People do that every day. Yeah. So, but the problem I was running into is that red truck was like 13 foot 2 inches on the ground. Okay. So it's impossible. You couldn't put it on a trailer or do anything with it. So I was like, well, the truck's trash. We keep it stored inside. Not trash. The frame was really bad. Just it was in really rough shape because the previous owner I got it from didn't take care of it very well. So I was like, well, screw it. We're just going to cut the top off of it and we can go make more videos with it, because there's actually a Swedish truck builder called Svimpas who's really popular, and he has a red Scania like we had, but he cut the top off and made it look really cool. Okay. We're not as good as that guy is, but that was the design behind that. So. Okay.
And so now it seems like you've tapered off in terms of some of the uniqueness and fun stuff that you've done with Scanias, and now you're in front of what, 24?
2025.
2025.
Yeah, we built it. This truck went down the assembly line the end of August, like August 27th or 28th. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so going into the trucks and the Scania specifically, my first interaction with the Scania is from JJ Verwey, who came over back in 2013. I met him in Canada, or actually Quebec, at one of the shows up there, and we were just chit-chatting. Had never seen anything like it other than, you know, online or in the forums. And so we were chit-chatting and everything, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to go out to California. I'm going to end up in Florida. And I'm like, well, where in Florida?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, Kissimmee. I was like, well, I live in Kissimmee. And so we ended up doing a rolling CB interview way back when. So I got to learn firsthand about the durability, the economy, the fuel economy, and things like that. So that was my first introduction to those trucks. So with that being said, tell me about this and what's different about it that I should know.
So this is a 2025 Scania R770. They actually make a 770S, which is another 1.5 feet taller, to be right at 13 foot 4 inches on the ground. But this truck we specifically spec'd as an R series, so that in the event we couldn't put it on or we couldn't drive it to a truck show, we could trailer it.
Okay, because of the height.
Because of the height.
Okay.
So I've got an RGN lowboy trailer, as most folks call them, that we could air this truck completely down on the trailer, and it'd be right at like 13.4 on the trailer.
Okay.
So that's why we don't have the top line cab or the tall cab as most people talk about.
Okay.
But before we get too much further into the specs of the truck, I need to explain how we got it here.
Okay.
And the process of only being able to drive it certain times of the year. The truck is here on a temporary import. I've been contracted as a agent for Scania USA, and that gives me the ability to drive the truck, transport it, and have it in my possession.
Okay.
Because it's here on a manufacturer's temporary import certificate.
Like truck work visa.
Pretty much, yeah. Every show we go to, every trip, anytime this truck starts up and drives, it has to be pre-approved by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Interesting.
So when we left Wednesday morning to come down here to Florida, we had to get pre-approval to leave the storage facility where it's at, my shop in Tennessee, to drive it down here and interact and let other people drive it and do these things. And then once we drive it back, it's parked. It can only be driven on private property or trailered until they say, okay, you're approved to go to this location and interact with these people, you know, and drive down public highways.
Why so strict?
That's a loaded question. So the truck is extremely safe. In my opinion, it's much safer here in the USA than it is with comparable trucks. The braking system, the airbag system inside the truck, the emission system. This is all my opinions. The emission system on this truck actually is held to a higher standard in Europe compared to what we have here. So yeah, I mean, the rules is just, it hasn't been through all the testing.
Okay.
Once it goes through the testing, if we decide to go down that route, then we can do anything and everything we want to do with it. So right now, we're just cross all our T's, dot all our I's to make sure that there's no steps skipped, because at any time they can come and rip our permit away from us, and it has to leave the country.
And that's testing for this particular year model?
Yes.
Okay, so if you had a 2023 or even the one that you had before, there's no stipulations?
No, that is for, the truck has to be at least 25 years old to come to the U.S. with no stipulations.
Interesting.
So my 3 Scanias that I have now, they can do whatever. We can run them commercially, do anything you want with them, as long as they're 25 years old.
Okay.
Now, with having a brand new one here, the only way it was possible to get a new truck here was for the manufacturer to bring it here for testing and show display purposes.
Okay.
So while we're here, the truck is we're taking it to shows, putting it in front of people. If this goes up on YouTube, I got a survey I'd like for you to share in the description. Everyone, make sure you go check out that survey, and we're just getting everyone's input, what they think about the truck, would they drive it, and just putting it in front of people and getting the public opinion. You know, manufacturers, this is not the typical way they go about bringing something new to market, ever. So this is all brand new territory for Scania. For myself being involved with something like this, it's a really big honor. And that's kind of why it's here. The truck is super intelligent though. So this truck parked right here. I can pull up the app on my phone and see right where it's parked.
Interesting.
I can see the entire road map, the trip of everywhere it's driven yesterday, today from Tennessee. I can see the fuel mileage. I can see how hard the brakes were pressed. I can see how many times I went out of a lane. I mean, you can see anything and everything. It's insane.
Talk about data logging. That's,
exactly, yeah.
I mean, here in America, we got an ELD.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's, that's user input.
Same stuff, yeah.
But this is, computer driven, where all that data is being input by the truck itself.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
And it's to drivers, you may think, well, I don't want to be tracked. I don't want them to know everything you're doing. But as the owner of a fleet, as an owner yourself, if you were to own one of these trucks privately, that information is literally invaluable, because you can know, okay, well, maybe I need to change my driving habits a little bit to maximize on the fuel savings. And this truck will actually give you advice. While driving down the road, the screen will say, hey, if you braked a little bit sooner, this was what would have happened, or it'll say, good job for braking sooner. I mean, it's insane, but it's the future.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me think about, in almost every conversation nowadays, the term artificial intelligence gets thrown in.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like what you're describing is that far off.
Yeah. Yeah, this one doesn't have any AI in it. They may have them in it one day, but so that's the technology side of the truck.
Okay.
We should talk about horsepower, though.
Yes.
So this particular truck is the biggest V8 engine that's offered on the market right now for highway use.
Can we spin around where we can look back in there and see the engine as you talk?
So this one's got a 16.4 liter, 770 horsepower V8 engine.
Okay.
It is a non-EGR engine.
Okay.
Scania runs a high enough compression on their engines that they're able to literally incinerate the fuel to where it's extremely low emissions. They do have diesel exhaust fluid like we have here.
Okay.
And they do have a what's called a one box, where it's similar to a DPF and filter system. But yeah, no, it doesn't have a VGT turbo either.
Okay.
So that's something else that's really unique. The transmission is a 12-speed automated manual. This engine does not have Jake brakes on it. It's got what's called a retarder that operates on the back of the gearbox as a hydraulic brake.
Okay.
So it uses hydraulic valves and pressure to actually slow the dry shaft turning instead of putting a strain on the engine. Jake brakes are great, but they do cause some. They do cause some pretty serious strain on your valve train and your engine. So this system, the retarder, has been around since the 80s on Scania trucks, and I mean, it's crazy. It's 2,000 braking horsepower.
It's used for retarding,
for slowing the truck down. So we have like braking horsepower on your Jake brakes, which is usually about what your engine horsepower is. This one's 2,000 horsepower of engine braking nearly.
That's crazy. So where is that applied along the drive line?
That's actually a system where you can see the cooling hoses there. It's actually a gearbox that mounts to the back of the transmission. So there's a big gear on the final drive assembly in the transmission that actually engages with your retarder. Kind of like if you had a PTO or something on the transmission, and instead of the transmission turn of a PTO, the retarder puts force against the transmission to slow it down.
Wow. All right, so it's always engaged.
It's always there. It's always spinning, but it's not. The valve is not there to slow it down until you turn it on.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
And what is under load when you're, well, let me back up a step.
Sure.
Have you driven this truck with a trailer?
Yep, we went to Iowa with my RGN. That's what we currently haul around with the truck right now.
Okay.
It's a Globe RGN.
Okay. And
came back from Iowa 14 hours with 80,000 pounds truck, trailer, and load.
Okay.
Right at, it's like 78,880 or something like that. And we averaged 6.8 miles to the gallon at 70 to 75 miles an hour.
Okay. And so since we were talking about the retarding system, what does that feel like once it's engaged? And can you control the amount of retarding?
Yes, you can control it. You can either set it, or it's automatically controlled, where the harder you press on the brake, the more it engages.
Okay.
Almost like electric trailer brakes.
All right.
Or you can just manually pull your handle down, like you'd be pulling the Jake brake handle down in a new Peterbilt, and it will just start downshifting gears and start applying that brake.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it automatically does apply your front brakes also to match the amount of braking pressure going to the rear axle.
Right. Total control. So there's no way to feel like you're gonna, lose
control or something like that. So you know, like right now, if you apply your Jake brakes and I have a 389, so I keep referring back to a 389 Peterbilt, and it's wet outside. You're coming down a hill, you know, empty or something like that, which you should never use your Jakes empty. But imagine you did, then your rear ends could slide around from you.
Yeah.
Well, this truck, while it's applying the braking system retarder, it's also controlling your front brakes.
That's pretty cool. What's going on the back side here?
So on the back here, we've got some really unique properties, I think, as these fenders, which I scratched with my lowboy the other day. Made me cry a little bit. We're going to get some new, we're going to have some fenders for working,
Yeah.
and some fenders for just the shows.
Yeah.
But that's why they're plastic. They're like a flexible ABS, really durable plastic fender, so you can actually remove these tops to service and do anything you need to do. Really cool. Almost every truck manufacturer uses this style fender setup in Europe, around the world. But the rear ends, we had special gears. Now that I'm trying to remember, I don't remember what gear ratio we put in them, but we put a different gear ratio than what they would normally have in Europe because they're actually only limited to 55 miles an hour.
Okay.
Pretty crazy. Like, that's everywhere. Interstates, you know, no matter what. So when people see us driving this thing at 70, 75 miles an hour, their minds are blown because truck drivers never are allowed to drive that fast. Now, what's really different compared to an American truck is the front axle is actually what drives all the time. Even with the rear axle down, which is lifted right now, this is your main power axle. Now in the US, the rear axle is your main power axle. And you have power divider issues, you know, the clutch systems and all that going out. This one, the front axle is live all the time. And if you wanted to drop the rear axle, you can drop it and let it support weight, but it doesn't have to pull.
Okay.
Now, if you want to drop it and have it pull, there's actually, in this front axle, there's a clutch system that would engage similar to a power divider and drive this rear axle, but they make it liftable so that you save on fuel, having to run these tight rotating mass.
Sure.
And believe it or not, whenever you pick this axle up and you're in slippery conditions or something like that, putting all your weight on that front axle will actually get you out of a lot of places compared to having all 4 tires on the ground.
Okay.
You can see right here where it's got these big airbags that actually pick this axle up off the ground. So really, really unique system there. We don't really have that. We have lifting axles in the US, but not powered lifting axles.
Right.
We just put a converter on here. The box I've kind of got sitting here. It's not mounted yet, but these are a 24-volt system truck.
Okay.
So we had to do a power converter for the 12-volt wiring systems on our trailers. But everything functions and acts like it normally would.
Okay, cool. Let's take a look on the inside.
Yeah, have at it.
At first glance, this door opens at a 90-degree angle, so
Yeah.
I mean, you can like put a refrigerator or anything large in there. I mean, I'm an exaggeration on a refrigerator, but you have a really large opening.
Plenty of space to do anything. Yeah, some really unique things right off the bat is your steering wheel. On the left side of the steering wheel, there's a switch you can press, and it will release it right on the side of the steering column.
Oh, so right here?
Yep. Just press to unlock. Now move your steering wheel up out of your way if you don't like it where it's at.
You know, I'm going to give you this.
Yeah, sure.
I think you're no stranger to cameras.
Yep.
Okay.
And now press the lock button. So it's air-powered lock and unlock.
Okay.
Some of your Argosies had that. It was on the foot. This one's up on the side of the steering column.
Yep. Some of the Volvos had that as well. Yes, I drove a Volvo for a while as delivering equipment back in the day, but it just made it simple to get the steering wheel into the right area. So there's. Would you mind doing the honors? We got a really cool truck. I know we're talking about Scanias right now, but that's a pretty cool looking Kenworth passing in front of us. So it looks like you can reposition this in just about any direction that you want.
You can fold it flat up top and use it as a table.
Oh, that's
pretty
cool.
Crazy.
But I noticed that it'll automatically lock on its own if you don't lock it.
It will after a couple minutes.
Yeah, that's a really great safety feature as well. That's cool. Yeah. What else is going on over here in the?
So no clutch pedal. You've got just your simple throttle and braking pedals down there.
Very small pedals.
Yep. Almost like 90% of the drivers that drive these trucks, they don't even they put their feet and that's something we actually skipped over. The top step you stepped into,
Yep.
they put their shoes right there. It's actually a safe space to put them because it is pretty sealed.
Yeah, because
most people just drive with their socks on or bare feet. There's actually companies that make a completely watertight sealing system for that down there.
Yeah, it creates a pocket down there. Okay.
The top step. That's starting off with the retarder we talked about. You've got a couple different settings here. So what was that, 4 or 5 different settings there. There's so many features on this truck, we would spend an hour. So I'm just going to go over them kind of quick. So this is your retarder for braking system other than your air brakes. You can set the braking system to operate automatically. If you let off the throttle, it'll start like braking.
Okay.
You can set your retarder to actually function automatically.
Okay.
The moment you touch the brake, it will automatically apply that. Right here's your forward, then you press that inward, and that's reverse on your retarder control lever there.
Okay.
The other side, you've got your normal turn signals and things like that. All of your lighting control for your headlights, taillights, running lights is on the door actually.
Interesting.
So you've got high beams and you've got lights up on top of the cab and then lights actually in the grill. It's extremely bright lights, extremely bright.
Why would they put these controls for headlights and everything else over here on the door?
It's all about driver comfort and how ergonomic everything is.
Interesting.
Something really interesting, this is not a sunroof, although that's what we call them here. This is an escape hatch. So every single European truck manufacturer is required to have this. So if the truck were to lay over or you couldn't get out of anything, you have another departure point.
Okay.
You can actually press a button and it will open to let air flow. Yeah, lots of storage everywhere. You know, you look at this truck from the outside, it doesn't seem like there's this much space in here.
Right.
You know, but there's actually a lot of space.
I'm gonna stand up for a second.
Yeah, you can stand up completely.
What's the measurement on the inside as height? Well, that'll have to be like 5'8" at least. I'm 5'8".
And this is the low cab.
Okay.
And make a cab that's you could probably you can put your hand straight up and barely touch the ceiling.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You've got several other controls back there that control your lighting. All of our junk's in here from traveling and filming, but it looks like a phone back there, but that actually controls your bunk heating system and your air conditioning system.
Okay.
So you can roll over and keep that next to you or leave it there on the wall.
Driver comfort.
Yep, more storage. More storage, more storage.
That's cool.
There's different racks for hanging clothes. And like I said, this is a full-size a bed like you would have in like a Peterbilt or anything like that. It's the same size bed that's in my 389.
Okay.
Right here's your fridge. You can access your fridge while driving down the road.
Oh, fat boy's got to eat.
Yeah.
That's
now,
cool.
What's really unique about these, this fridge will stay on. It'll tell you right there for 25 hours before it turns off.
That's crazy. Why would it turn off though?
Battery voltage. So,
so before it runs down.
Because with these trucks, it's back to how advanced they are, right? So with my Peterbilt, for example, the fridge will essentially kill the batteries.
Yep.
It does have the low voltage shutdown, but even then it's like still almost too low to start the truck.
Okay.
This one will truly shut down everything in the truck and still start up.
Okay, so self-preservation. It'll make sure that it has enough voltage.
There's more storage here. This is like our junk drawer. All kinds of storage here. Factory box you can check to get a coffee maker in your truck. You check a box, say yes, I want a coffee maker.
And so where does it typically ride?
Right here.
Yeah.
Like it's mounted.
Oh,
right
it's
there.
secured in.
Yeah, it's mounted.
That is awesome. Can you like release it and take it out? Or?
No, it's actually mounted right there. That's like where they've been mounted for years in that exact spot in Scania trucks.
Interesting.
Seats, you know, they have every box you could ever check with heated, cooled, all kinds of different things.
Now, I want to go back to this coffee maker for a second. Is there a heated element to keep the coffee warm in there?
Yep.
All right.
So to keep your coffee hot, like right now, I closed the door because the sun's beating on me.
Yeah.
You've got a sunshade you can pull down there to keep that nice and cool. Your sun visors. This is something else. I mean, it's pretty legit, you know.
So, question, and when it comes to, you know, research and development, Scania is a pretty old company.
Yeah.
But you'd think that it seems like they've not ditched any of their original ideas, and they rolled ideas on to the next model, because you look at some of these things in the refinements.
Yeah.
If they're, you know, some companies will build a new model and they'll introduce it, you know, to the market, but there's so much in here. It seems like this, you know, it would take forever to develop all this. So this is just features that have been
refined, engineered. In Södertälje, Sweden, that I visited, they have this place they call the Mountain. It's where all the engineering and development happens, the testing grounds. It's more secure than, I don't even know what to compare it to. Like, it's more secure than some of the places here that the government operates out of in the U.S. It's insane. And we're talking thousands of engineers that they'll task an engineer saying, okay, you know, make this this sun visor better. And that's all this guy does. And that's why, you know, nothing slams.
Why is there a pocket in there?
So you can grab it. It's just a different place to grab.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Up atop where that empty spot is, that's where they would have what's called a tachograph. So we have an ELD. Everywhere else has what's called a tachograph, which is a system where each driver actually has a card, like the shape of a credit card, and you actually would stick that in the moment you start driving.
Okay.
So it knows who the driver is, and it goes into a cloud-based system.
Okay. Well, I was thinking like it was one of those areas like back in the day, you'd have your pull-out stereo. You know, take it with you.
Yeah, to keep people from stealing it.
You ain't stealing my radio.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Next question. Speaking of, will it start?
Yeah.
Can I drive it?
Yeah, I don't see why not. We do have permission to let people drive the truck.
Okay.
While we're attending truck shows and events. One more thing I got to show you. My cameraman that's been riding with us, editing and doing stuff. This is potentially it's a really great feature for the driver. Okay, it reminds me of something out of, say you're flying.
Yep.
You got your pull-out table, so you open that up. I mean, man, engineering.
Yeah.
Doesn't flop right open, anything crazy.
Soft open.
It's an aluminum tray, so you can put your laptop there, and it truly supports a lot of weight. It's not just anything flimsy. It's aluminum. And you can sit here and eat, do whatever you need to do.
Does the seat slide forward?
Yeah, the seat slides forward, backwards, the whole 9 yards, And the whole bed system, actually, you can pick the whole bed up and access more storage in the center here. Because you do have your outside boxes that are behind us, their seats exactly.
Right.
And then you have a whole other storage system underneath the bed and in the center.
That is cool.
So
you can literally live in here with all of the space that is.
We've compared the cubic feet inside compared to this, and my 389 Pete with a coffin sleeper, and this has a lot more space.
Yeah, it definitely does.
One more click, there you go.
Don't need to wait for anything.
If you want to, you can, but if not, you're good to go.
It's too quiet.
It is. What I really admire about this truck is, again, I compare everything to my Pete.
Yeah.
It serves its purpose compared to this truck, okay? It really does. But you have Bluetooth, wireless talking capabilities in that truck, and it's completely useless. You cannot hold a conversation with anyone. This truck, you can truly Bluetooth everything and have a full-blown conversation wirelessly. So in Europe, the guys, they don't wear headsets because these trucks, you don't need to wear them.
Yeah, and I said that facetiously about it being too quiet. It's actually a compliment to the sound dampening of this truck. Because again, I rode with a gentleman yesterday up to the 75 Chrome shop.
Yeah.
And we were talking loud enough to hear each other over the sound of the truck.
Yeah.
And I was worried that, okay, are people going to be able to hear us when when the video goes out? But here you can actually have a very relaxed conversation.
Yeah. Very conservative, not loud, anything. Just talk like normal.
Yeah, it's almost too relaxing. So it's like so Bruce, how's things going? Everything going good in your life?
Literally, it's so nice. Yeah.
All right.
So really important thing.
Yes.
Something that's you've probably never interacted with ever. Where's your red and yellow parking brakes?
They're not red and yellow anymore.
You don't have those. So this truck has, if you have your foot on the brake,
should I?
Just light pressure, nothing crazy.
Okay.
So you've got an electronic parking brake. That's parking brake by wire.
Okay.
So right there, your brake's released. Now, once we put your seatbelt on and start driving, we can press this button right here. It's not going to light up right now because your seatbelt's not on, but
right.
You can pull up to a red light, take your foot off the brake, and the truck won't move. It's automatic parking brake.
Okay.
So once you come to your first initial stop, the truck will hold, no matter where you're at, what you're doing.
Okay.
Take your seatbelt off, they permanently set.
Okay.
Or you can still do everything manually right here off of that one lever.
Well, that's cool. So what I'm hearing is that we just get to our destination, and I need to get out for whatever particular reason. I take the seatbelt off, and the brakes are
all set.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's just missing a hood.
Literally.
I like the feel of the seats.
So the seat's actually aired out right now.
Okay.
If you want to leave it aired out, I do, because the truck rides so well that, I mean, you have front air ride, you have cab air ride, then you have seat air ride.
Okay.
3 levels of air ride, or I just leave mine aired out.
Okay.
But totally up to you.
So this is our gear selector?
Yep. If you're ready to drive, press the automatic brake button there we talked about. Once it turns green, you're good to go. Now you still have your foot on the brake.
Yep.
Just roll the gear selector forward into D. And then just press the throttle. Now, something I want you to, you've driven automatic trucks.
Yep.
With the Eaton automatics, things like that, like we have here. They're either in or out.
Mm-hmm.
There is no barely going.
Yeah.
Barely press the throttle. Like imagine you're slipping a clutch, but barely just press the throttle.
It's almost like this thing is hydrostatic.
It is. It will creep. It will literally creep and slip the clutch automatically for you. Like the more throttle you give it, then it'll finally engage the clutch and go.
And it's only doing this because there's we're sitting in created a depression here in the grass.
Yeah.
And we're rolling out of the depression.
And right now it should be in 3rd gear, so you're still kind of slipping the clutch.
Okay.
So you give it more power, then it'll just completely release and go.
This is giving me like tour bus vibes.
I had someone that drove it that said they compared it to a Prevost RV that they own.
Yeah.
They're like, this feels just like I'm driving my RV.
So you said the S is how many more inches taller?
It's roughly 14, 16 inches taller.
Why is it so much more taller?
Because it gives you a bunk bed.
Okay.
Or more storage up top. And a truly flat floor. This one has around 8 inches of a center here, but the S is a completely flat floor truck.
Dear Scania, you do not need any more storage.
Oh, they have it all. Like the S would have had a microwave in it and everything from the factory.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
That's one of our next videos I'm working out is how much can we make or cook or drink from the inside? Non-alcoholic, of course, but
right.
From the inside of our truck.
Right. And or actually show how many things you've put into some of these storage spaces and volumetrically, it's sitting on a table or a space or what have you, and all of this came out of this truck.
Pack it all in there.
Yeah. My initial impression is this is really comfortable. Visibility is really good. Keeping it between the lines, it's not an issue. Again, driving this for the first time, but in terms of response, it's way too smooth. I've already taken my mind over I've already taken my mind off of the driving portion already. So now it's just a matter of where do we need to go, what's going on down the road.
And what I want you to do up here somewhere is find a place to turn around that you would normally turn a car around.
Got it. Let's go. Let's whip in here.
Yeah, there you go.
To the old farmer's market.
Go right here and just do a circle, and you'll see how tight the turning radius is. It'll blow your mind.
All right, so typically if I had a RGN on, it's one of the things we used to pull.
Yep.
I'd be over here hugging this side.
Yeah.
And going like, oh, well, I've already turned what came in too far.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit that trailer. And no. What? We're already turning back on the path that we came in on.
Now cut it to the right and turn it come all the way.
Well, my initial impression is like, no, I'm going to hit that trailer that's sitting over there. Have you guys shot this from above?
No, we haven't. We need to though.
Yeah, I wanted when we get back, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
If I can just get an aerial shot of how tight this is turning from above. This is ridiculous.
And see, in Europe, their trailers, like almost all their trailers have steering axles on them. So the trailer wouldn't nearly follow you this tight. But it would be really close.
Yeah. So across the street, there's a cop sitting there. He's probably going like, "What in the world is these people doing?"
Just keep doing it till he comes over here.
You're doing very slow donuts, sir. Non-destructive donuts. All right, I'm going to move back out of our little area so we can look at the tracks that we've laid down. So I'm really curious.
We got someone here who's like, what the heck are these people doing?
He's smiling. That's impressive. I really have to say that. I'm impressed about that.
Yeah, and our steering is electric over hydraulic also.
Yeah.
It has hydraulic steering, but then it also has a electric system to help.
All right, so those are pretty tight. That's probably 35 feet across.
Yep.
Interesting. All right.
So it's not only for this truck to make tight circles, but maneuverability with the trailer hooked. How you can cut the trailer and manipulate the trailer to do things that it wouldn't normally do.
Yeah.
All right, so now if we're gonna head back on your steering wheel, on the right side, you'll see like a little gear. Yep. Now press that and watch your dash. Press it again. That's normal mode. Now press it one more time. Now you're in high power mode. That's all the horsepower.
Okay.
And all the gears.
Okay. Can we put that rear axle down as well?
We can. So what we're going to do is put it in neutral. Okay. And you're already in park, so take your foot off the brake. And what am I looking for right here? Now we're going to feel the truck move here in a second.
Okay.
So now the whole truck is perfectly leveled. Front is adjust the front ride height.
Right.
Depending on if you have the rear axle picked up or not.
Okay.
So now everything is leveled, and you should be good to go to put it in drive. So now that we're in the 55 mile an hour zone, we have no one behind us. Let it roll down to like 40.
Okay.
And then accelerate from like 40 to 60 or whatever you feel like. And then you'll see the power band is pretty wide.
All right, so we're at 40.
Yep.
That's really cool. Really cool, really smooth, and you can really feel the power of the V8. One of the things, though, that I like about the V8s, and I know this is going off into a different topic because again we're talking about design, economy, and everything else. But the sounds of those the straight pipe V8s over there are V8s.
Yeah,
that's like a sound like none other. You know, I really love that. So with the axle down, I feel a different sensation, but it's almost like we should have a trailer on, just to take that little bob out. But I can definitely feel there's more stability. We're no longer doing this.
Yeah.
Is there any lane departure warnings or anything like that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll do that.
Is that
just keep going?
Okay.
Let go of the steering wheel. Like keep your hand close to it, but let go of it, and let it go to the right a little bit or to the left, whichever way.
It's pulling it back center.
Yeah. It'll keep you centered in the highway.
But it doesn't yell at you.
It will if it gets a little too wild.
Okay.
Yeah.
If the ELD or driving limitations weren't a thing, how many hours do you feel yourself being able to drive at a time in this truck?
A lot.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's pretty crazy. From driving 8 hours in this truck, it doesn't feel like you've driven 8 hours.
No.
It just doesn't. I mean, when I would drive home from Tennessee to Florida, Tennessee, like in the Pete, I'm like, I'm ready to get the heck out of the truck. I'm like, I'm just done for the day. This, it's like you're tired, but you're not like exhausted.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So going down the road when you guys were traveling from point to point, what were some of the impressions that you get from other truckers driving in the same direction?
It would blow your mind.
Yeah.
We've got people that will pass us and then slow back down to get photos or videos, drivers, or we'll pass someone and then they'll speed up and get photos or videos. We had a guy on our video we're about to post in a couple days that we passed by him and he's like did this, like breaking his neck, and then it's like going over the white line.
Got it.
But he pulls and then he gets his iPad out and it's a video of my video. It's me on YouTube and he's like showing it through his window.
That's funny.
So the driver reactions going down the road are pretty crazy. And then
So do you think Scania will get mad if you decide to straight pipe this?
Yeah.
Just temporarily straight pipe it and then, put it back when you're done with it?
Big no-no. Yeah, well, we've been doing like Americanizing this truck to an extent, and people are there's lots of like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, you don't have permission to do that, different things along those lines. And it's like everything we do to this truck has already been run by corporate, approved. They want to see the truck made to look like, or to give the Americans the idea that it could be made to look like an American truck, or have the styling of it. So we went to Iowa Customs, built a deck plate, we made some rear light panels and stuff for it. We're working with Yop over there, or JJ as you call them, at Going in Style in Holland. They're working on getting us some parts for it. We're not going wild, we're just giving it some tasteful touches, and kind of just going that direction with it.
Okay. So is the ultimate plan or the long-term plan for Scania is to import these trucks?
Ideally, that's my goal is to find a way to get them to come here. That's one of the reasons I've got the truck, is to see the viability of the market, see what people think, put it in front of people in a not so normal way, because I can't think of any manufacturer ever in the heavy duty space that's ever released a truck and just gave one, said here to a media person, said here's the truck for you to use, not just GM and other manufacturers have media vehicles that you can show up to an event and drive it and make a video, but we're actually touring this thing around. So it's a little bit different direction and not so typical style, but I think it's the right direction to really get honest, independent reviews.
Yeah.
Because I do criticize the truck. I'm all for it, but I am critical of it. I like hearing other people being critical of it, because we can't just drive around and show this off and make it sound like some perfect, it's godsend, perfect thing, because it's not. But I hope that if these trucks come to market and be available in the USA, it'll make American manufacturers held to a higher standard. Because it's like the U.S. is advanced in different ways compared to Europe and other countries, but then how are their automotive vehicles this far advanced compared to what we have? It just doesn't make sense, other than our heavy-duty manufacturers being lazy and capitalizing on the profits.
Yeah, because there's a heck of a lot of technology in this. It's one thing to stand next to it and talk about it on the ground, and you point out things and everything else. It's a whole nother ball game when you're in the seat and you're driving down the road. And again, I can't think of anything that I don't like, because the only thing that I would say would be the little cavitation that we feel, but typically no one's bobtailing around all the time. So I'd imagine that would not be there, and we already mentioned that.
Well, there's some other really cool features. So this has what's a Webasto heater, a diesel heater on it.
Okay.
But since the truck is 24 volts, that heater can run all night without you ever having to start the truck.
Okay.
You can just press this button right here.
Okay.
Set your temperature. Like, since we've been down here, every night like last night, it was pretty cold down here.
Mm-hmm.
Set it to like 65 or 68.
Okay.
And come out here the next morning, the interior's that temperature.
Okay.
So you don't have to start the truck up, let it warm up. Because that also keeps the engine coolant warm.
Okay.
On top of keeping the truck warm. It does have an electric AC compressor also on board.
Okay.
For sleeping overnight and keeping the air conditioning, cool air inside the cab.
And that's more than likely quiet as well.
Yeah, it's makes zero noise other than the fan running for your circulating the air in the cab.
With all of this being said, and the things that you're telling me, driving cross country in America, it's a 2-3 day situation. And over in Europe, to get from country to country, it is not a 2 or 3 day situation.
Yeah.
It's a 5 hour, 6 hour situation. So driving this over there for 5 hours, 6, 7, 8 hours at a time, and you're in a different country or what have you, it's like I'm going to say it's a luxury.
Yeah.
Just because these are some of the luxury features. Again, it's a up-to-date truck, but these are features that you'd want to have if I'm going to drive a nice vehicle. From state to state. I want to be comfortable. I want to be cool. I want to be warm. I don't want to have to think about anything else.
What stunned me was whenever, and Tommy and them are all great friends of mine. I mean, I'm in business with his brother, Fitzgerald. They invited me to the 589 reveal of the new trucks. And when I seen the way the 589 came out, and how they still had all the same practices of manufacturing, the things that they changed or didn't change, and things you expected, I was like, it was a huge letdown. And then that's when I was like completely turned off, because like this is a new truck that is nothing like a 389. I mean, it's not. The hood's similar, but that's it.
Yeah.
The cab and all that structure, the interior is completely different. So people drove and bought 389 Peterbilts because it was like the last iconic American truck, the hard red-blooded truck, Right. The 589 is just like, it was an attempt to still be like that. But Peterbilt went to that cab to save cost on manufacturing because it's the same as all their other cabs. And it's built by robots now.
Yeah.
So it's like, at what point do you just like, okay, I'm done with trying to stick to this culture when it's forgotten me? The manufacturers have forgotten the buyers. And search for something that's way more comfortable and ahead of what we have here.
I think the only thing, and I agree with you, the only thing that I'd have to say about this truck would be the styling on the outside.
Yeah.
But that's not what, guys are going to buy this for. They're not buying it for the styling. They're buying it, to move freight. They're buying it for the features, the creature comforts and things like that.
Well, go ahead.
Once you're in here, you're not looking at the outside anymore.
No. Well, the only way to get these comforts in the U.S., frankly, is to go buy a Volvo. Or even the new Cascadia that's coming out for 2026. I don't know if you've seen any of those or not, but those have electronic parking brakes in them too.
Okay.
The Cascadia and the Volvo.
Okay.
Because Freightliner Cascadias are Mercedes, so they're incorporating the technology from Europe into the American truck now. Same with Volvo. But those two trucks have zero ability to be customized. Zero. There's nothing you can do to make one of those trucks have any kind of style. This one, you get everything that they offer, and you have the ability to style it.
Okay. One of the things you'll have to do at some point, if you've not done it already, you get some of the die-hard guys, die-hard W9 guys, die-hard, Peterbilt guys, con them, you don't have to con them, but get them into the seat and just say, drive it.
That's my plan at the Mid-America show, is to be up there on Sunday and Monday.
Okay.
And to just not do a official ride and drive there, but to get it up there in front of some people and let them drive it around the circle around the show. So we're going to be probably putting that out on YouTube or Instagram at some point for people to meet us there at a certain day or time and let people take drives in it around the circle.
That'll be cool. With or without a trailer?
I haven't decided yet.
Because
most of the ride and drives are going to be there without trailers.
Yeah. Because someone's going to go like, this is just fine and dandy, but it ain't got no weight on it.
Yeah.
This really ain't got no power, because, we're bobtailing, so it's probably, gutless.
It'll probably be bobtailing. I've got some bigger plans at a future date to set up an entire event based around just experience, but not there yet.
Okay. This is not what I expected. I expected it to ride nice, but not this nice.
Yeah.
Experiencing all of the features and the comfort. Can you get a third axle on this? Again, if you're going to operate this in America, can we put it would be a fourth axle on this and do some heavy hauling?
Yeah. Yeah, there's the customization of the specs is unlimited.
Okay.
One of the biggest specs I'd like to see come to the U.S. is dump trucks. Okay. We've got these trucks that have 2 or 3 lift axles underneath them on top of the drive axles. They're steering axles, some of them, but they're the only way to get a steering axle is it would be a lighter weight axle. You can't get a true 20,000 pound axle that's a steer axle most of the time.
Okay.
The most ideal truck version of this would be to have a 20,000 pound steer, another 20,000 pound steer directly behind the cab, and then 2 drive axles and planetary axles in them.
Okay.
That'll still do highway speeds, but then you have 2 steer axles, and if you spec a truck, a Peterbilt or Kenworth, for example, to have twin steering axles that are connected to the gearbox, it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
Impossible to get, and it's another $100,000 or something crazy. But that's something that just normally comes out of the Scania factory. It's nothing special.
Interesting.
And they actually make axles that would go behind the drives that would also steer.
Counter steer.
Yeah. Pull that lever all the way back. Just pull it all the way back. All the way back. Yeah, all the way down.
Like that?
All the way down.
That's pretty cool.
You didn't touch the brake at all, did you?
Oh, I had my foot over the brake, but I could still feel the...
So push it all the way back up, and then when we go to turn into the property here, just be at 60 miles an hour and just pull that
it back?
Yep, and don't touch the brake. All right, go ahead. All the way down.
That's crazy. It'll bring you to a complete stop.
Yeah.
Almost, eh?
Yep. It's got adaptive cruise control. I'm sure you've probably had that in some vehicles before. If you're behind someone in traffic or anything like that, they'll stop at the red light with you.
That's cool.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is the guy that was at the market down there. Yeah, it is him. He's probably going to come talk to us.
Oh, that's right.
I think it is.
Yeah, that's why it backed up so quick.
Yep. Well, any final thoughts or questions on anything? I mean...
no. Well, sticker price. What's the cost of this setup right now?
This one, ballpark, is right around $250 USD.
Okay.
gosh.
Parking brake set. Take your seatbelt off, and it'll turn red.
I was not expecting this. I was expecting it to be like, okay, yeah, this is cool. Volvo-ish in terms of drivability.
Yeah.
Do these chairs spin, or they're fixed?
They're fixed, yeah.
Okay. Do some of the Scania chairs
Some
spin?
of them did spin,
Okay.
yeah.
That's right. In some of the setups, there's walking room here, if I believe what I've seen in some of the
In
trucks.
the long line version, so they actually make a cab that's like another 4 to 6 foot longer.
Okay. That would be my ask, is that at the end of the day we just parked. I want to spin my chair this way, but I still can get comfy. So
Yeah.
this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Bruce, thanks for letting me drive the truck. Thanks for taking time to talk on camera about everything. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to put your camera guy
Jack.
on screen. Thank you. You look comfy back there. Are you comfy?
Yeah, we did the brake thing.
Yep.
And he did not warn me last time, so I had to prepare.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for holding the camera.
No problem.
I imagine everything turned out good.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do. All right. Well, I appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you at the shows this upcoming season.
Yeah, you're going to be at the Florida Truck Show?
Yes. That's in a couple weeks.
We'll be down there with this, and then we'll be at almost all the shows on the truck show list.
Okay. All right. Cool. And shameless plug. I'm continuing to update the truck show list, so if you are a show organizer or if you know who is organizing a show, have them go to the truckshowlist.com, submit their new dates for the year.
Mm-hmm.
This is a tool that was built, for everyone to use to keep up to date, because what's happening is that everyone is finding out about these shows, and the attendance is starting to go up, honestly, because they can find the shows. So I encourage everyone to go over there and update. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you, and see y'all later.
Yep. See ya. Thanks.
We were sitting here talking off camera for a second, and my question to you, Bruce, is how many chicken lights can we fit on this?
We've got plans to add quite a bit, actually.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, that's something we didn't really talk about, is the European truck style of button tuck interior
Yeah.
came from the U.S.,
Okay.
from the Kenworths,
Okay.
to mimic the American style.
Uh-huh.
So they actually we're going to be putting some watermelon cab lights on this, and
Mm-hmm.
horns on the cab. We have lots of lights. We're putting lights everywhere. So
Okay.
it's going to be really bright.
All right. You're going to get all this done before Matt's?
Yes, it has to all be done before Matt's. That's the stage.
All right. Who's going to do all the work?
Myself and probably some guys from Europe. They're going to come help us do it.
Oh, nice. That'll be fun. All right. Sounds good. All right. I'll see y'all later.